Hello everyone, welcome back once again. So in the last session we started solving sums based on this chapter number 9, force and laws of motion. We started with the sums given in your textbook, right? So today also we'll be continuing because I did only 4 sums in the last class, so I'll be doing remaining sums today. Then I told you to remember these formulae before attempting the sums based on this force and laws of motion, that you have to remember the 3 equations of motion. V is equal to u plus at, b square is equal to u square plus 2as, s is equal to ut plus half at square. And I also told you to memorize the formula for momentum, that is p is equal to mv, and your second law of motion, f is equal to ma, and then your law of conservation of momentum, m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is equal to m1 v1 plus m2 v2. Depending on the data given, you have to choose the formula that you have to apply there, and I taught you also how to apply the formula, how to select the formula for the particular sum. So today we'll continue with the remaining sums. Okay, so we'll start with the fifth sum now. In the last class I've done 4 sums, right? So today we'll start with the fifth sum. These sums are given in your textbook. At the end of the lesson these sums are given. So let's read the question here. An automobile vehicle has a mass of 1500 kg. What must be the force between the vehicle and road if the vehicle is to be stopped with a negative acceleration of 1.7 meter per second square? Read the question carefully. What are the data given? They have given you mass. Mass of the vehicle is given as 1500 kg. Then they have given negative acceleration, that is small a is equal to negative, so minus 1.7 meter per second square. Unit of acceleration is meter per second square. You have learnt in your first chapter. So they are asking what must be the force between the vehicle and the road if the vehicle has to be stopped. So they are asking you to calculate force. Question is very clear. When they are asking you to calculate the force, we are talking about force and laws of motion. So you will apply Newton's second law of motion and you will write F is equal to ma. Now substitute the value of m as 1500 and your acceleration as minus 1.7, because in the question itself it is given as negative acceleration. So you have to multiply both these quantities, that is 1500 into minus 1.7. So this is a positive number, here you have a negative number. So plus into minus is minus, the answer will come with a negative sign. So minus, when you multiply 1500 and 1.7, it gives you 2550 Newton. So a force of 2550 Newton must act on the vehicle in a direction opposite to that of its motion. Obviously, when you want to stop a car which is coming in front of you, you have to apply a force in the opposite direction. Clear to you? So the force will be a negative force since it is applied in the opposite direction. Clear to you? Very simple. See, when you solve the sums, there is nothing to panic. You have to understand the data given there. What are the things given? What is the question asked? If you know that clearly, then things will fall at its place. Here it is clear-cut question. Mass is given, acceleration is given, force is asked. So only these two quantities, direct formula you have, F is equal to ma. Clear to you? So like this you have to read the question thoroughly, start writing down the data, and then you see what is asked. Accordingly you have to apply the formula. As and when you do sums, when you keep on practicing, you will learn it better. Okay? Let's move on to the next sum now. Let's do the next sum now. 8000 kg engine pulls a train of 5 wagons, each of 2000 kg, along a horizontal track. If the engine exerts a force of 40,000 Newton and the track offers a frictional force of 5,000 Newton, calculate the net accelerating force and the acceleration of the train. So they want you to calculate two things. One is the net accelerating force and the acceleration of the train. Net accelerating force here is what? The force that is making the train to get accelerated. They have given you two quantities to talk about force. One is force exerted by the engine, which is 40,000 Newton. And another one is force, that is your frictional force offered by the track, that is equal to 5,000 Newton. So you want the net accelerating force. So you have to subtract these two quantities. 40,000 minus 5,000 will give you 35,000 Newton, which is the net accelerating force. You have to subtract the frictional force from the force offered by the engine. When the engine is pulling the wagons, it is running on the track. At that time, the track is also offering a force. So that should be subtracted to calculate your net accelerating force. What is acceleration? Change in velocity. Yes or no? So net accelerating force means what? The force with which the train is getting accelerated. Original force which is making the train to move along. For that you have to subtract the frictional force offered by the track. So that gives you 35,000 Newton. Clear? Now let's go to the next part of the sum. Second is to calculate the acceleration of the train. Here you should be very, very careful. What are the terms given in the C? Now how you have to apply, I am telling you. See, what are the terms given in the question? What are given? They have just given you the mass of the engine. There are 5 wagons. They said mass of each wagon. One wagon is equal to 2000 kg. That's what they have given. And they have talked about the force offered by the engine, force offered by the track. Okay, so you have force, you have mass. You don't have any other quantity. You have to calculate acceleration shown by the train. Acceleration. So you cannot go for the other formula V minus U upon T. So you have to bring in the formula which has this F, M and A. So which is the formula? For that we'll use F is equal to MA. Now I want this A. So what should I do? A is equal to F upon M. F stands for the net force which we have already calculated, and M stands for mass of the train. We have got the mass of the engine separately and mass of the wagon. That is, one wagon is only given. So now you have to calculate mass of 5 wagons. See here. First they have given you, I said F is equal to MA. So A, if you want, means it is A is equal to F upon M. F stands for your net accelerating force which we have already calculated. M stands for your mass of the train. So that's why mass of the train is what? Wagons, mass of the wagons plus mass of the engine. See this formula here. So mass of the engine, it is already given in the question, 8000 kg. Mass of 5 wagons we have to calculate. Mass of one wagon in the question is given as 2000 kg. So mass of 5 wagons will be 2000 into 5, which is equal to 10,000 kg. So total mass of the train will be mass of the engine, that is total mass of the train will be mass of the engine plus the total mass of the wagons. That is your 8,000 plus 10,000, which is equal to 18,000 kg. So we have calculated, we want A, right? So now we have calculated this net force, we have calculated in the first part itself. What's the net force we calculated? 35,000 divided by mass of the train is the sum of mass of the engine plus mass of the wagons, which is equal to 18,000 kg. So cut zeros here. So you get 35 upon 18. When you divide that, 18 twos are 36, no? So only one time, 1.944 meter per second square. Meter per second square is the unit for acceleration. Understood? Very clear? Very easy? Okay, let's move on to the next sum. Using a horizontal force of 200 Newton, we intend to move a wooden cabinet across a floor at a constant velocity. What is the frictional force that will be exerted on the cabinet? Using a horizontal force of 200 Newton, we intend to move a wooden cabinet across a floor at a constant velocity. Let's imagine this as your wooden cabinet. Okay, it's on the floor. You have to move it across, right, at a constant velocity. So when it is moving, you are pushing here, and the floor is also offering a force on the wooden cabinet, which we call it as frictional force. So what is the frictional force that will be exerted on the cabinet? You have to calculate this frictional force exerted by the floor on the cabinet. Clear to you? So they have said that a force of, I told you just now, the wooden cabinet is here, it's on the floor, you are pushing it this way, this is the force that you offer, that is 200 Newton. It is applied in the forward direction. From Newton's third law of motion, every action has equal and opposite reaction. So when you apply a force, an equal amount of force will act from the opposite direction also. So what is the opposite force that is getting acted here? You are moving it in the forward direction. This way you are applying. The frictional force is offered in this way. So the force offered by the floor on the wooden cabinet, which is called as frictional force, is the opposite force here. This is the action force, right? So it's moving here, the frictional force. So this is the opposite force. So it is always equal according to your Newton's third law of motion. So this frictional force will also be equal to 200 Newton. Clear? You are pushing the wooden cabinet in the forward direction. So you are applying one force. The floor is also exerting a force on the wooden cabinet, which we call it as frictional force. So they are asking you to calculate that frictional force here. So one force is the force that you apply, which is equal to 200 Newton. The other force is in the opposite direction, that is from the ground. So according to Newton's third law of motion, every action has equal and opposite reaction. So equal amount of force will be exerted by the floor also on the cabinet. So that will also be equal to 200 Newton. Clear? Next question. See, this is very, very important. Please pay attention. Okay, let's read the sum now. Two objects each of mass 1.5 kg are moving in the same straight line but in opposite direction. Two objects are moving in the same straight line but in the opposite direction. One is going this way, the other one is coming in the opposite direction. Clear? It's going like this, it's coming like this. Opposite direction. So the mass of both the object is given as 1.5 and 1.5. This is object 1 and this is object 2. So the velocity shown by the first object is 2.5 meter per second. The second object is moving in the opposite direction, so the velocity will be taken as a negative value, minus 2.5 meter per second. That's why I have written here, see. Velocity of object 2 before collision is equal to minus 2.5. Negative sign is given as the object is moving in the opposite direction. Clear to you? So before collision they are showing a velocity of 2.5 meter per second. You have to calculate the velocity of the combined object after collision. They want you to calculate the velocity shown by the object after collision. So what are the terms given here? Mass of the first object, that is your m1 is equal to 1.5 kg. m2, both the objects are having same mass, which is also equal to 1.5 kg. Velocity of the object, first object before collision, u1 is equal to 2.5 meter per second. And velocity of the second object before collision will be minus 2.5 meter per second. Why minus sign? Because the object is moving in the opposite direction. Clear to you? Now let's calculate the momentum of the first object. So momentum formula will be mv, right? Mass into velocity. So momentum of the, that is p of your momentum of the first object, that is phi of object 1. P stands for your momentum, no? Is equal to m1 u1. We have assumed no mass of the first object as m1, velocity shown by the first object before collision as u1. So that is equal to 1.5 into 2.5. See, 15 into 25, 375, 2 decimal places, which is equal to 3.75 kilogram meter per second, unit for momentum. Clear to you? This is your momentum shown by the first object. Similarly, we will calculate the momentum shown by the second object, P of object 2, that is equal to M2U2. So what is M2? Mass is same, 1.5. U2 will be minus 2.5 by minus, because the object is moving in the opposite direction. Again the answer will be minus 3.75 kilogram meter per second. Clear to you? Now let's calculate the total momentum of the two objects before collision. So we'll use the formula m1u1 plus m2u2, right? So we have calculated this m1 as 3.75, m2u2 is minus 3.75 plus into minus. Okay, so 3.75 minus 3.75 will give you 0 kilogram meter per second. So momentum of the object before collision is 0 kilogram meter per second. Clear to you? Yes. So the sum is not yet over. We have to calculate the velocity shown by the object after collision, when they collide with each other. What is the velocity shown by them after their collision? So we have to do the second half now. So for that, see, we have to now calculate the total momentum of the object after collision. So after they collide with each other, what will happen? They will start showing a change in their velocity. So we will assume now your mass of the objects as m1 and m2, both are of equal mass, which is equal to 1.5 kg. Okay, velocity of the objects after collision, v1 is equal to v2. We don't know this, so we will have it as v. This value only we have to calculate. Now total momentum after collision, what is the formula you have to apply? m1 v1 plus m2 v2, right, which is equal to m1v plus m2v. We have assumed no v1 and v2 as v only. So taking v common, we'll get m1 plus m2 into v. Here I've shown. Now substitute the values. m1 plus m2 into v. So your m1 is what? 1.5 plus 1.5. This we don't know. Okay. So which is equal to 3v. 1.5 plus 1.5 is 3. Now, so your total momentum after collision is 3v. Now let's get back. We have to calculate the value of v, no, velocity shown by the objects after collision. Of the combined object, means when they collide with each other after their collision, what is the velocity shown? Velocity of the combined object after collision. Now coming to law of conservation of momentum, what does it tell you? Momentum before collision is equal to momentum after collision, right? So what is the total momentum that we calculated? That is your m1u1 plus m2u2 is equal to m1v1 plus m2v2, right? So your m1 v1, we have, this part we have calculated in the previous slide, which is equal to 0 kilogram meter per second. Then here we calculated as 3v, right? Now we want the value of v. What will you do if you want? See, the equation goes like this, no? 0 is equal to 3v. We want this v equal to 0 upon 3. So 0 upon 3 will give you 0 meter per second. Suppose if they have asked you to calculate the momentum after collision, initial momentum is equal to final momentum. When you got that as 0, this is also going to be 0. Obviously, when one quantity is 0, the other quantity will also be 0. Here they are asking you to calculate the velocity. That is why we are using this. V is equal to 0 upon 3. Clear to you? Next. Let's do the next sum now. Hockey ball of mass 200 gram is traveling at 10 meter per second. It is struck by a hockey stick so as to return it along its original path with a velocity of 5 meter per second. Calculate the change of momentum occurred in the motion of the hockey ball by the force applied by the hockey stick. See, Question is very simple. You have to just calculate change in momentum. This force and all you need not have to calculate here. They are just telling you to calculate the change of momentum occurred in the motion of the hockey ball because of the force applied by the hockey stick. They have not asked you to calculate the force. They are asking you to calculate the change in momentum. Change in momentum formula is final momentum minus initial momentum. Okay. Now let's see how the sum is. See, a hockey ball, its mass is 200 grams. We have to calculate initial momentum and final momentum, I said. What is the unit for momentum? Kilogram meter per second, right? It says kilogram meter per second. So I have to convert this gram to kilogram. What should I do? 200 divided by 1000. So I'll get 2 upon 10, which is equal to 0.2 kg. So the mass of the ball is 0.2 kg. Clear? Next. See, let's understand the sum first. There is a hockey ball. Its mass we have calculated 0.2 kg. It is moving with the velocity of 10 meter per second. Then it goes like this. It is hit by a hockey stick. Okay. While coming, it is hit with the velocity. It is coming with a velocity of 5 meter per second. It is coming in the opposite direction. No? So I'll use it as minus. Now I have to calculate initial momentum and final momentum. Then I have to subtract to calculate the change in momentum. So first I will calculate the initial momentum. Initial momentum will be, I'll use the formula M for mass. Momentum formula is what? P is equal to mv. For initial momentum, this V will be assumed by me as U. Here you see. So that will be my initial momentum. I'll use the formula mu. My m is 0.2 into 10 meter per second. So 0.2 into 10 will give me 2 as the answer. 2 kilogram meter per second. Right? That is the answer for initial momentum. It's calculated here. See. Now I have to calculate final momentum. Final momentum, my mass will be 0.2 kg. There is no mass change in here. Okay, the mass of the ball remains the same. Velocity, I will write it as V because it is hit by the hockey stick. The velocity changes and it is moving in the opposite direction. So I'll write it as minus 5 meter per second. Right? Now my final momentum mv will be 0.2 into minus 5. See, 2 into 5 will give me 10. 2 into 5. Here it is 0.2. So if my 2 into 5 is 10, 0.2 into 5 will give me 1.0. But there is a minus sign here. So I will write minus 1 kilogram meter per second. This is my final momentum. Now the question is to find the change in momentum. Change in momentum formula is mv minus mu. What is your mv? I have calculated that as minus 1 minus mu. So I'll put a minus sign. Mu we have calculated as 2. Okay. This is a positive 2. But when I open the bracket, it is minus 1 minus 2. When two numbers are having the same sign, add and put the greater number sign. 2 plus 1, 3. Greater number is having a negative sign. So it is minus 3 kilogram meter per second is the change in momentum after the ball is hit by the hockey stick. Clear to you? Yes. Now see. Children, I have an assignment for you. These sums we have a kind of the sums that are given as homework was already done in the class now. Please go through the video again and again and try to solve these two sums. I'll come with the answer for these two sums in the next class with the solution. Okay, I'll give you the solution for these sums also. Try to practice. Okay. So till then, take care. Goodbye. Have a good day.